I'm very pleased to be joined today by a great panel of professionals for what we expect to be a really dynamic discussion this morning. So first, I'd like to introduce you to Nicole Ensing. Nicole is a human resources business partner at Borg-Warner and supports a diverse workforce of manufacturing and salaried personnel. Nicole promotes the importance of strong manufacturing workforce and strives to provide unique solutions to staffing difficulties. She's been with Delphi Technologies, which is now Borg-Warner, for 5 years and places a focus on coaching and development, both in her work and through involvement in multiple mentorship programs through Oakland University. She's a strong supporter of employee engagement and the importance of individuality and career growth in the workplace. So good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here today. So I'm going to start with a little question, just kind of to set the context of what we're talking about today. So at Borg-Warner, why don't you share with us a little bit of the trends that you've been seeing in the last 12 months?
Absolutely. So I think that COVID-19 has shown us all a lot of interesting things about life and about the world just in general. But what we're really seeing from a manufacturing perspective is this has really called importance to the manufacturing sector. So last March, when we started, all of our salaried staff started working from home. That's just not an option in manufacturing. And I think that called out a major difference for us. And it really called the importance to manufacturing. And then when we started hearing terms like essential workforce, critical infrastructure, things like that, it really, really indicated that those are the backbone of our businesses. And that is really what keeps our world moving. So for us, it's been calling some attention to that and really emphasizing the importance of the manufacturing realm. But we've also seen some difficulties with being able to attract talent during this time. I think people are having some challenges with childcare and different scheduling needs. So it's been really challenging to find a good staff, but it's really also called out how important that is for us.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of brought a new element or a renewed element of pride in the manufacturing industry. And, you know, I can share that sentiment that I've talked with folks who really take pride in the fact that they are essential critical workers.
Exactly.
But for those who have not been involved in the manufacturing industry yet, there might still be kind of a reticence to in-person work, to understanding what the industry is about and what the future is there.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Next, adding a different perspective to today's discussion is Joe Bamberger. Joe is the founder and managing partner of Emerge Consulting, a Michigan-based management consulting firm, and he specializes in developing long-term workforce strategies by helping businesses attract, develop, and retain talent. Joe also oversees Emerge Skills. And if you guys haven't seen this, it's fantastic. It's a technology platform which provides students on a non-traditional educational path with career opportunities. Joe's responsible for directing Emerge's vision, supporting business development, and overseeing the operations of the firm. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. I'm gonna ask you the same question because I think it's a really good way to start things off. What have you been seeing in the last 12 months from your perspective?
Absolutely, and I'll answer it from two perspectives. So obviously, the work we do is primarily, 99.9% with entry-level hiring. So it's out on college campuses, out on trade school campuses, out on high school campuses. So from a college perspective, those traditional four-year universities. So from a manufacturing perspective, those are your engineers, your high-level salaried positions. The attraction at that is totally changed, right? As you all are very aware, college campuses are closed to third parties. Any career fair, any special event, any activity from a recruiting standpoint is 100% virtual. So if anyone has had the pleasure of sitting in on a virtual career fair, knows how frustrating those can be. And unless you have a very recognizable brand, those systems aren't very well geared to attracting talent to your organization. So the college recruiting has totally changed. It's you have to rely more on your faculty relationships, your relationships with career services. You have to find new creative ways to attract talent. On a positive side, right, everyone's in the same boat, right? So you're able to get to a lot more campuses now because you don't have to deal with the expense and time of travel. So you're able to kind of expand your reach in a lot of cases due to the fact that everything is virtual. On the high school side, things are really interesting. Obviously, high schools are still open. The career and tech learning has never really went virtual in most cases. So those trade schools, those CTE high schools, those are still operating, and those students are still looking for opportunities to do work-based learning opportunities and co-ops. So if you have the means and the ability to train and develop and have students shadow with you, it's a really great opportunity to connect with students right now, because obviously there's so many kids that are still graduating high school regardless of the pandemic that are looking to gain that valuable career experience. So if you haven't tapped into your local CTE high schools or trade schools, I would encourage you to do so.
Yeah, that's something that, we've been talking about for years. And I think that that might be, part of the double-edged sword that is the pandemic. Certainly some negatives, but there are some positives there. And working more purposely to connect manufacturers with those CTE programs, with those young individuals who are interested and not quite sure how to make that connection. So, great. Thanks, Joe. And rounding out our panel today is Mike Durgis. Mike is a founder and partner at Sigrid Solutions, a management, recruiting, and leadership advisory firm. Sigrid Solutions works to connect great employers with amazing talent and has a strong focus on the manufacturing sector. Mike understands that the recruiting needs of manufacturing companies from both the inside and out, because prior to Sigrid Solutions, he was the chief operating officer for a tier 1 automotive supplier and principal with a global strategy consulting firm. He enjoys working with companies to understand their hiring needs from a strategic perspective. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Delaney. Thank you so much for putting this together and bringing together such a fantastic panel. This is
absolutely
exciting.
happy to do it. And we've got a great crowd today, and I think a good way to kick it off. The question's going to sound familiar to you, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing from your perspective in the last year?
Yeah, so we focus primarily on mid-management and senior management recruiting, pretty much across all functions. But we've seen a couple of trends. One, on the business side of things for the employers, there's been a little bit of an opportunity to upskill, if you will. So they've seen some maybe unexpected retirements through the pandemic, where people are like, I'm going home. I'm going to sit on my deck and watch the trees grow. And so they've been able to start a hiring process to kind of bring the skill level up a little bit more from where it may have been. On the candidate side, we're seeing a little bit more maybe risk aversion. And I'm not sure whether this is going to stick long term, but we're seeing candidates that where a year and a half ago would have jumped at an opportunity. Now they're like, well, okay, I might not be completely happy where I am, but I know what it is, and I'm not willing to make a move. They're also looking at commute times, where an hour commute might not have been anything 18 months ago. Now they're thinking, well, I've been working from home for the last year. This is really nice. I don't want to commute more than half an hour. Actually talked to one candidate. I don't want to commute more than 15 minutes. Okay, that might narrow your scope a little bit, but hey. So those are kind of the two differing sides of the coin that we're seeing just over the last year or so.
Sure, absolutely. You mentioned those upskilling opportunities, and I know that here in Michigan, the state of Michigan is actually trying to support a lot of that. There have been several programs that I hope everybody's taken the opportunity. The Going Pro Talent Fund. I know that there's record amount of funding that the governor is proposing for this year. There's already been some great awards, and manufacturing got over 43% of the awards there. So that is a great opportunity. And I see Nicole bobbing her head, because I know that Borg Warner has been a great supporter of and a champion of the Going Pro Talent Fund. The Futures for Frontliners program, which helps upskill with tuition-free training in community college, that was rolled out during the pandemic. And just recently, applications for Michigan Reconnect, which is also a tuition-free program for either community college or for training, demand-driven training through Michigan community colleges or private institutions. Great opportunities if you're looking to upskill your workers. They can do it part-time while they're working with you.